Namaste. Respected dignitaries, esteemed keynote experts, plenary speakers, session chair experts, researchers, academicians, professionals, students, and all dear participants. We begin this meaningful academic gathering with a prayer seeking wisdom, harmony, innovation, and collective national progress. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyanti, ma kaschit dukhabhag bhavet. In the spirit of Bharat's timeless knowledge tradition, we believe that education must not only inform the mind, but also transform society. May today's conference become a platform where science, technology, artificial intelligence, and Indian knowledge systems unite for the vision of Viksit Bharat at 2047. Vedant Knowledge Systems Private Limited has continuously worked toward transforming the vision of Viksit Bharat at 2047 into practical academic movement through conferences, publications, research collaborations, faculty engagement, and knowledge dissemination. This international conference series serves as a bridge between India's civilizational wisdom and modern multidisciplinary innovation. Every edition of this series strengthens the dialogue between artificial intelligence, sciences, transformative education, and Indian knowledge systems, while promoting ethical, sustainable, and nation-centric research practices. It gives me immense pleasure and pride to welcome you all to the 6th International Virtual Multidisciplinary Conference entitled Advancing Innovation Through Multidisciplinary Research and Transformative Education, AI, Sciences, and IKS in Multidisciplinary Synergy for a Viksit Bharat. This conference is not merely an academic program, it's a collective intellectual movement toward the future of India. As Bharat progresses towards becoming a developed nation by 2047, the role of education, scientific research, emerging technologies, and interdisciplinary collaboration becomes increasingly important. Artificial intelligence is reshaping industries, sciences, and redefining innovations. And Indian knowledge systems are offering ethical and sustainable pathways of humanity. As Bharat progresses toward becoming a developed nation by 2047, the role of education, scientific research, emerging technologies, and interdisciplinary collaborations become increasingly important. Artificial intelligence is reshaping industries, sciences, and redefining innovation. And Indian knowledge systems are offering ethical and sustainable pathways for humanity. Through this conference, we aim to create meaningful discussions on AI-driven education transformation, scientific innovation and sustainable development, Indian knowledge systems and value-based learning, multidisciplinary research frameworks, global academic collaboration for nation building. This gathering seeks to align research and innovation with the larger vision of Viksit Bharat. We now present a special compilation of wishes, blessings, and messages received from distinguished leaders and dignitaries of our nation. These blessings and encouragements strengthen this academic mission dedicated to research excellence and nation building. Vedant Knowledge Systems believes that education must become transformative, research must become socially relevant, and innovation must become nationally purposeful. Through conferences, publications, youth initiatives, and interdisciplinary collaborations, Vedant continuously works toward integrating artificial intelligence, sciences, and Indian knowledge systems into modern academic and research frameworks. Vedant believes knowledge must create character, research must create solutions, and innovations must create national development. Every researcher, every teacher, every student, innovator, and each institute can contribute to this movement toward Viksit Bharat at 2047. You can contribute through multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary research collaborations, integration of IKS into education and curriculum, AI-driven educational innovation, youth mentorship and academic leadership, community-oriented research initiatives, policy dialogue, and sustainable innovation. Together we can transform research into national service and education into force of social transformation. On behalf of Vedant Knowledge Systems, its directors and entire organizing team, I extend a heartfelt welcome to all distinguished keynote experts, plenary speakers, session chair experts, researchers, academicians, industry professionals, students, and participants joining us from different parts of India and abroad. Welcome all. Your presence makes this conference a vibrant multidisciplinary confluence dedicated to innovation, education, and nation building. Dear friends, it is time to announce the Best Research Paper Awards. The best research papers are allotted in three categories: student, research scholar, and educator. In this Viksit Bharat at 2047 conference series, this is the sixth version where scholars and exceptional contributors are being awarded with Best Research Paper Award. In student category, Miss Pailam Varsita Anand of Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering, Bengaluru, has earned the Best Paper Award. Congratulations, Miss Pailam. In Research Scholar category, Miss Shubhangi Moghe of Karnavati University has earned this award. Congratulations, Miss Shubhangi. In Educator category, Swetha P of MS Ramaya College of Arts, Science and Commerce has earned this prestigious award. Many congratulations to all the awardees and their institutions. Let's move toward the thought-provoking sessions of our esteemed speakers. It is my immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. Pina Bhatt, an accomplished academic leader, researcher, and visionary administrator. Dr. Pina Bhatt is currently serving as the principal of GTU-Institute of Technology and Research. She brings with her more than 25 years of rich academic and administrative experience. Her contributions to research and innovation are truly remarkable. She has received major research funding from Gujarat Council of Science and Technology for a project related to surveillance robot mechanisms and had also received a prestigious ISRO research grant for the Research Basket project. Under her academic supervision, several scholars have successfully completed their PhD research, while many are currently pursuing doctoral studies. She has published patents, research papers, and conference publications at national and international levels. Dr. Bhatt has also played a vital role in establishing centers of excellence and framing academic policies at leading universities and institutions. Her commitment toward innovation, technology-driven education, and academic excellence makes her an inspiring voice for today's conference theme. We now invite you to watch the keynote address by Dr. Pina Bhatt as she shares her valuable insights on AI, innovation, scientific advancement, and transformative education for Viksit Bharat. Let's invite Dr. Pina Bhatt for her keynote address.
Respected dignitaries, academicians, teachers, educators, scholars, and the participants across the India and globe. Namaste, and very having a very good day. It is my indeed privilege to an honor of the address of the 6th International Multidisciplinary Virtual Conference on Advancing Innovation through Multidisciplinary Research, Transformative Education, AI, Science and IKS in Multidisciplinary Synergy for Viksit Bharat. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Vedant Knowledge System Limited for this invitation. Today, all of you are aware that we stand at a defining moment in India's journey toward Viksit Bharat 2047, which is a vision not merely about academic growth only, but also creating a nation that is intellectually empowered, technology and advanced, which is culturally rooted, also ethically guided and globally respected. This theme of this conference touched my heart, and it is very much relevant because the future belongs not to the isolated discipline only, but to multidisciplinary collaboration. The challenges of the 21st century are we know that the climate change is a big issue, healthcare, sustainability, ethical AI, cybersecurity, social equity, and the most important is the quality education. It cannot be resolved through the fragmented approach only. They demand the integration of the science, technology, humanity, management, and also, of course, our Indian knowledge system as well. Now, India has also believed in the holistic education. Our ancient university like Takshashila and Nalanda, they promoted the integrated learning many centuries ago. Education was never confined to only to the one subject. It was definitely connected with the life, values, the societal need, the nature, and the human consciousness, of course. Today, as we discuss the artificial intelligence and advanced technology, it is very and equally important to remember that the innovation without value can become directionless, of course. Therefore, the integration of the artificial intelligence with the ethics is most important. Innovation with the humanity and technology, this wisdom is the need of the hour. Artificial intelligence is transforming every sector: education, healthcare, agriculture, industry, and the research, of course. AI is not only a technology. We cannot say that AI is only a technology. It becomes a catalyst for the transformation. However, when AI is progressing rapidly, the human intelligence still provides the creativity. We cannot say the AI is everything because AI also produced by any human being. So the human intelligence still capable to provide the creativity, compassion, ethics, and critical thinking. The future will not only belongs to the AI which replacing human, but to human who effectively collaborate with the AI, as I mentioned. for education and the academic leaders, this transformation brings both the opportunity and the responsibility. So it is our duty to redesign the education from a theoretical learning to the practical learning. Then isolated knowledge, because someone having a knowledge of any technology, but it should convert it to the interdisciplinary understanding, of course. And we need to think about the degree-centric education to the skill-centric education, and from information delivery to the lifelong learning, of course. So we know the National Education Policy 2020 has already laid a strong foundation for such transformation. It encouraged the multidisciplinary education, research orientation, flexibility, innovation, and the collaboration of the Indian knowledge system with all the parameters. Also, we need to make our future generation global competence. So being an educator, it is our responsibility to translate these policies into a meaningful practice. Without that, we cannot be successful for NEP 2020. And research, research today must be a societal relevant. Otherwise, it is the not meaning to doing a research for 5 or 6 years, because we need to understand the societal need and its problem. So it should be solution oriented, of course. And the true impact of the research lies not only in the publication, but the solving the real kind of problems and contribution in the nation building. So what Viksit Bharat require, how we can define? So it requires the innovative universities, empowered teachers, skilled youth, ethical leadership, research ecosystem, and globally competent citizen, which is rooted in Indian values. In this journey, teachers are playing most important role. It is not only, now teacher is not only an instructor, teacher should become mentor now. Teacher should be the motivational person for the students. Teacher should be a nation building and the change maker. And the technology is, already you all are knowing that the technology is transforming classroom and teachers are also using this technology to transform the inspiration. They are inspiration for the students as well. So I strongly believe that the future University of India will not only the center of knowledge, but the center of innovation, entrepreneurship, sustainability, and the societal transformation. To achieve this, academia and industry, of course, must work together very closely. And the students should be encouraged toward the research, startup, patent, problem solving, internship, and community engagement, of course. So education should prepare students not only for the employment, but also the leadership and the responsible citizen also. It is our duty nowadays. So at the same time, while embracing the globalization, India must preserve its civilization wisdom. Indic knowledge system offer profound insight into sustainability, wellness, environmental harmony, governance, holistic living. So these are the main parameters. Integrating Indian knowledge system with the modern science can create uniquely Indian models of development of the world. So my dear friends, India today has the world's largest youth population, and the demographic dividend can become the greatest strength if guided through the quality education, innovation, and value-based leadership. Our youth must become creator of the knowledge, not merely the consumer of the technology. We are now it's a time to become a creator as we are moving toward the 2047, and with the vision of the Viksit Bharat, the role of the Higher Education Institute will become even more critical. Institution must focus on the innovation culture, inclusivity, digitally readiness, ethical practice, and the global outlook with the Indian ethos, of course. So the vision of the Atmanirbhar Bharat and the Viksit Bharat can only be realized when education becomes transformative, research become very impactful, and the innovation become the inclusive. So before I conclude, I would like to appreciate the organizer for creating such a meaningful global academics platform that connects the educators, researchers to the leaders across the discipline. Such conferences are essential to exchange the ideas, inspire the collaboration, collectively shape the future in education. So let us work together to build in India, which should be the technological advanced, intellectual vibrant, ethical grounded, and culturally rich. So an India where education empowers the research transformation, innovation upliftment, and the knowledge which serves for the humanity. So I'll conclude with a beautiful thought by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Education is not merely about earning a livelihood. It is about empowering an individual to contribute for the nation building. So may all of us will contribute, continuing to contribute toward the shared vision of the strong, self-reliant, innovative and developed India. So my best wishes to all the participants, and may this conference will be the great takeaway for you. Thank you very much. Enjoy Hind.
On behalf of Vedant Knowledge Systems and all participants, we express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Pina Bhatt for her enlightening keynote address. Your reflections on innovation, research ecosystems, artificial intelligence, and transformative academic leadership have deeply inspired us. Thank you. Thank you for strengthening this conference with your visionary guidance and scholarly presence. Thank you, madam. Now, I would like to invite our today's plenary speaker. It is our proud privilege to introduce today's distinguished plenary speaker, Dr. Komal Sharma, an emerging academician and scholar contributing significantly to higher education and interdisciplinary research. Dr. Komal Sharma is currently serving as Assistant Professor at the Center of Excellence, School of Law, Gujarat University. She holds a PhD in Commerce from the same university and also qualified in NET and GSET examinations. Her academic expertise spans financial accounting, advanced accountancy, financial management, taxation, investment analysis, digital commerce, economic policy, and public finance. She has published and presented several research papers in reputed journals and leading conferences. She has also edited scholarly books and actively served as reviewer and session chair at various academic events. Her academic journey reflects dedication toward research quality, interdisciplinary learning, and scholarly engagement. We are delighted to have her among us today for this wonderful event. We now invite Dr. Komal Sharma to talk to us.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Today's title of this plenary talk is Transformative Education for Viksit Bharat 2047, AI, NEP 2020, and ICAS. Respected chairs, distinguished guests, organizing teams, and my dear participants, a warm welcome and namaste. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to Vedanta Knowledge Private Limited organizing a national conference on this magnitude, focused on very blueprint of our country's destiny and extraordinary feat. Vedanta has consistently proven us its vision isn't limited to a corporate milestones. It's a deeply intertwined with the scared task of nation building. Thank you, Vedanta, for creating a magnificent platform. Once again, it's an inspiring to see bridging together the scholars, academicians, participants from the diverse disciplines to contribute towards the shared vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. When we talk about year 2047, it's very easy to treat it's just a date on calendar, a statistical milestone, or a political phrase. But dear participants, for me, I believe every single soul 2047 is just not a year, it's a promise. It's a tryst where destiny that marks exactly 1 century since a young, fragmented but fiercely hopefully nation broke its colonial shackles and reclaimed its rightful place in the world. Think about its human terms, the toddler who are entering preschool today, learning their very first letters their mother tongue will be the absolute prime of their lives in 2047. They will be our scientists launching deep space mission. They will be our entrepreneurs. They will be our lawmakers crafting generational policies, our teachers, our shaping our next century. Therefore, defining a question are here is to today is not what kind of India will our children inherit in 2047. No, the real urgent question right now is what kind of children will we give to the India in 2047? To build Viksit Bharat, a fully developed, prosperous, self-resilient, sovereign India will cannot afford rely on yesterday's predictable blueprints. We need an educational ecosystem that doesn't uniform but radically transforms. Fortunately, we stand at the intersection of historical trade that has power to make this happen. The exponential technological leap of artificial intelligence, the progressive liberating architect of national education policy, which is NEP 2020, the timeless sustainable wisdom of our Indian knowledge system. Now, moving forward with this stride that is AI as a velocity, NEP as an architecture, IKS as the anchor. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you think that these three elements are superficially seems to a completely different kind of universe, almost putting opposite direction, where AI is a hyper focused on future. It is a world of silicon, raw data, predictive algorithms, machine learnings, where NAP is firmly rooted in the present. It's a world of full of policies, frameworks, institutional restructurings, credits, administration systems, administrative reforms, where IKS is completely opposite to them and it takes us to the deep into past. It is world of our rishis, Upanishads, the mathematical treatise of Aryabhatta, and the legendary universities of Nalanda, Takshashila, Vallabhi. If our educational institutes treat these three pillars as isolated silos, we will end up with a fundamentally broken society again. If we focus only on AI, we will produce a hyper intelligent and coding automated children. If we only focus on structural policies without tools of the future, our students will left behind in the competitive global digital economy. As well as if we treat our ancient heritage just in nostalgia without validating them with the modern science, it remains locked in the museum of the active classrooms. Therefore, the magic happens when we bring them three today. We must view them not as a competitive forces but as an elegant symbiotic treaty. Now, NEP is the architecture. It provides a sandbox. It breaks down the rigid archaic walls between science, arts, and commerce. It shifts the focus of rote memorization to the creative and critical thinking. AI is again the engine that provides the velocity, that unpredicted scale, where extreme personalization is ensured that high quality education is no longer luxury of illicit but a fundamental right of every children. IKS whereas plays as a role of anchor, it's our soul, it's our distinct civilization identity that ensure that even as our youth soar high into the digital clouds of global innovation, their roots remain still in the ethical soil of ethos. When velocity meets the architecture and it is guided by steady anchor, education ceases to the mere literacy, it transforms into the true enlightenment, which is our focus. Now let us understand again, moving into the from the mass production to the extreme personalization, which is that elephant in the room right now is artificial intelligence. So there is an undercurrent of deep anxiety sweeping across the global academic community today. Teachers are asking, will ChatGPT, generative AI make my role redundant? Parents are worried, will AI turn our children into lazy plagiarists or who can no longer think themselves? As an educator, as a leader, as a human being, we must change our perspective right now. AI is not the replacement of human intelligence. We must ensure that it's an amplifier of human potential. AI can replace the task, but it can never replace the human spirit, the empathy, the mentor, the transformative warmth of the teacher's encouragement. For over a century, half of the I can say half of our education system will suffered from the remedial weight of factory model, a relic industrial revolution, one classroom, 40 students, one rigid textbook, one teacher, uniform, a pace of learning that we are sane yet to till yet. If a young mind failed to grasp the complex algebraic equation within the 45-minute lectures, they heavily coming out from that classroom like a machinery. The child was left with a permanent crippling gap in the educational foundation, forever labeling themselves as a bad at maths. Yes, AI is again obliterates the flawed of the model. AI gives a power to give a single student or single child their own personal infinity patient teacher, patient tutor, I can say. Let me paint a picture for you. For example, imagine a girl who is living in the remote tribal village in hinterlands of India. Her school is lakes of 50 equipments, physics labs. There are no specialized coaching centers where 100 miles, but her father has a basic smartphone. Though a localized AI powered educational platform, she can interact with the virtual avatar of Dr. Abdul Kalam or Dr. Aryabhatt. She can ask a question in her native language without fear of judgment. She can sense the learning pace which detected by the AI exactly what her conceptual gaps lies in. She uses AI uses storytelling, folk examples, augmented realities, explain gravity and plenary in the motion. This is the real promise of AI that democratize the excellence. It takes a hyper personalization attention that used available only to the wealthiest citizen of the world and hands it to the child of rural government school completely free of charge. However, we must remember a profound truth that AI possesses syntax, semantics. It has a vast ocean of data, but not a single drop of wisdom. It can write an essay on wisdom, ethics, values, but it cannot feel the weight of ethical choice. And that is exactly why machine must guided by the human philosophy, which brings our scholar second pillar, which is NEP 2020, flexibility, inclusivity, and multidisciplinary minds. The National Education Policy 2020 is again a first educational framework in modern India that actively deliberates attempts to exercise the ghost of Lord Macaulay's education system. Macaulay openly designed a system to create arms of clerks, individuals who could execute orders but were discouraged from questioning and status quo. For decades, we continued that legacy, treating our children as a data storage device to be evaluated on 3-hour memory test at the end of year. NEP is again a completely shifts this paradigm to the saying give the student autonomy to choose. Young minds want to study advanced quantum machine with the classical Indian music. Our system must not stop them if a student wants to learn computer science alongside to the organic farming or a textile design. We must welcome them with the open arm. Why this multidisciplinary flexibility or critical for the Viksit Bharat? Again, the question is that because when a massive systematic challenges of 2047 will not present themselves nearly labeled academic department, climate change, ethical AI governance, sustainable urban design, macroeconomics, these are messy, interconnected, multidimensional problems. They require minds that can seamlessly cross borders between technology, science, and philosophy. Furthermore, NEP fears emphasis on the early education in the mother tongue is a profound psychological masterstroke. Cognitive science has proven that beyond the shadow of doubt, a child learns best, creates most vividly, and critiques more sharply when they learn and they speak at home. Or I can say they can learn better in their mother tongue. Far too long we mistakenly equated fluency in English or English language with raw intelligence. In doing so, we aligned and gave a inferiority complex to the millions of brilliant young minds in our villages and in our small towns. NEP 2020 shatters this linguistic elysium. It says that world class scientist, a profound jurist, or an innovative teacher pioneer while thinking, articulating beautifully in Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Odia, Bengali. But let us be completely honest with ourselves. A policy document is only as good as its implementation. To turn the words of the NEP into living, breathing reality, we must look at what sustained this subcontinent. As an intellectual superpower for thousands of years, we must gaze our IKS. Now, moving again with the third part of our this trident, we have IKS. IKS is not a nostalgia but a scientific methodology. Whenever the phrase IKS, Indian Knowledge System, is uttered in contemporary academic circle, I commonly noticed a common misconception often arises that people assumes talking exclusively about ancient history, religious scriptures, or retreat romanticizing that nostalgia. Today, from the prestigious Vedanta platform, I want to clarify this with the utmost scientific conviction that IKS is not about leaving the past. It's about understanding the ancient methods of thought to build an unshakable future. Our traditional knowledge is an absolute goldmine of advanced machinery, metallurgy, environment sustainability, linguistic architecture, and psychology. While the modern world scrambles to find the solutions of the catastrophic ecological crisis, our ancient IKS frameworks have always taught Prakriti not as the resource to be aggressively exploited and conquered, but as a scared entity which humanity must live in perfect harmonic coexistence. Centuries before, European mathematicians discovered the binary system or a combination structure. Acharya Pingala mapped them out brilliantly in a Chandra Drashya, effectively laying the conceptual foundation of modern computer science. Our ancient system of Tark Shastra, the science of dialectics, logic, structural debate, remains one of the most rigorous, breathtaking framework for critical thinking ever convicted by the human mind. What was the actual beating heart of our ancient Gurukul system? It wasn't a memorization of dogmatic text, the Upanishad or the Vedas. It is not all about only to memorize them. The Upanishad tells that knowledge begins with the pariprashna. Pariprashna is something which is deep, uninhibited, respectfully questioning. It is then entirely based on the anubhuti, experiential, hands-on learning. So, when we see our Indian knowledge system, when we seamlessly integrate IKS into our modern university and school curricula, we are not simply telling our children India was a great, we are pulling the curtains to show them how our ancestors thought, analyzed, innovated, what we are giving them an authentic global identity. Imagine an Indian data scientist, again I'm repeating myself, that imagine an Indian data scientist in the year 2047 who designs a predictive public healthcare AI algorithm which is based on holistic preventive wellness principles of Ayurveda, ensuring that medicine focuses on keeping society healthy rather than just treating them fall sick. Imagine a civil engineer building the smarter city of Viksit Bharat, integrating the sophisticated thousands of years of old water conservation, town planning techniques of Indus Saraswati civilization with the real-time Internet things sensors. That is the great syntax we must strive for. The technology we can use, we can cut in the cutting edge and global environment, but underlying the wisdom, the value system, and the cultural context must be Indian. Now, coming to the roadmap to the 2047, which is our shared destiny earlier, which also relates with the theme of the conference. Dear my esteemed colleagues and participants, we must draw this long dialogue to close. Let learn forward and look into the future together. Let us paint a vivid picture of what classroom in a Viksit Bharat actually looks like in a 2047. It is a classroom where ancient spirit of Gurukul has been completely revitalized by modern technology. We do not see rows of uninspired, exhausted children staring blankly at the chalkboard, desperately writing down the notes for exam. Instead, we see a vibrant hub of chaotic creativity. A student who sits highly advanced AI interface and completely exploring the mathematical and structural genius behind the architecture of Brihadiswara temple and the Thanjavur or the Sun temple of Pune. Though this single impressive project, they are learning geometry, structural engineering, 3D coding, art and history, philosophical ethos, all at the exact same time. They are fluent in the language of the future, completely underburdened of administrative compliances, and profoundly found and proud who they are. We are not building only the nation where children only learn. We are bringing, or we are giving them the system which they can proudly say who they are. But ladies and gentlemen, the glorious vision will not materialize out of the thin air through the wishful thinking. It demands that we, the educator present in the conference or present in this room or present in this field, the corporate leaders, the policy executioners, the entire Vedanta group, we can deliberately or actively building this bridge. We must commit ourselves that sometimes our non-negotiable actions, like we must embrace the AI without the iota of fear. We must use it, automate the mundane, the administrative, the repetitive burdens of teaching, thereby freeing our educators to do what they do best: mentor, inspire, and ignite them to the human curiosity. With this, we must implement NEP 2020 in its true and unadulterated spirit. We must look past the mere bureaucratic checklist of compliances forms, actively cultivate the institutional culture of absolute flexibility, multidisciplinary freedom, and respect our vernacular languages. We must embed Indian knowledge system with the absolute intellectual pride. We must decolonize our mind, presenting our traditional wisdom not as a dogmatic folklore but the conceptual, deeply scientific, and profoundly relevant solution to the modern world's greatest challenge. Let us again finally stop teaching our children what to think and start training them how to think. Let's move away from the text heavy memory based instructions and move towards the contextual rich wisdom based enlightenment. Once again, I would again like to shield a light upon the thing that if I'll talk about uh, three these three tiers which we had focused till the NAP, which is again the I can say the architecture, the AI, and the our IKS Indian knowledge system. Here I can say this is the time or this is the generation where we cannot directly it's not about one animal or one scriptures that eats the another animal or another scripture, or if I talk about a sea where fish had a fear that large fish eat them. It's like faster fish and slower fish situation, or faster fish or slower fish kind of environment right now. The one who learns very early, very quickly, and very adaptive, the one who succeed more. So, while moving with the way forward, we should achieve the vision of Viksit Bharat, following to the ensuring quality and inclusive education to all, integrating technology effectively with the education, reviving and promoting the Indian knowledge system. We can encourage the research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. We can strengthening down the value based education. With the same time, when I say multiple times, जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, जब हम विभिन्न विषयों को एक दूसरे के साथ मिला रहे हैं, तभी हम एक नए आविष्कार को संभव होते देखते हैं. तो उसी चीज़ के अंदर जब when we talk about multidisciplinary approach, the future belongs to those who can connect the knowledge across the various disciplines. We can think broadly, we can creatively, we can solve complex problems, we can solve uh, different real world problems with the innovative mind across the domains. AI with the economics, AI with the education, science with the ethics. तो गुरु का कार्य सिर्फ ज्ञान देना नहीं है, ऐसा हम मान सकते हैं. गुरु जो है वो प्रेरणा दे रहा है, जीवन की दिशा दे रहा है, जीवन की दिशा प्रदान कर रहा है. आई थिंक यू मस्ट हैड हर्ड दिस लाइन दैट गुरु का कार्य earlier before. But in a true sense, educators must encourage the curiosity, educators must encourage the questioning habit. Education we the educators who creates the promotion of ethical and responsible thinking. We are inspiring the innovation and creativity. We'll talk about the current situation where most of the children or most of the students who are below the age of 18, they are continuously spending their free time in watching Netflix and or other OTT platforms, I would say. But are you comfortable with this thought that their developing mind is right now is adopting from that things? So we are not here to say transmitters of knowledge, but we are the facilitators of the learning. We are the facilitators, we are the mentors, we are the nation builders, and educators are the most important stakeholder for the transformation process of education. Again, if I'll lastly talk about the three pillars and who are integrating each other. So AI brings technological advancement and efficiency. NEP 2020 provides a policy direction, structural support. IKS again offers the ethical grounding and cultural depth. When we combine and create a education system that is future ready, value based, global competitive, again locally rooted, because we are looking for a system which is spreaded out globally but focused on the local roots. जब हम परिवर्तन की बात करते हैं तो परिवर्तन जो है वो इसी तरह से शक्य हो सकता है. So national education policy is not a landmark reform. It provides a comprehensive framework transforming the education in alignment with the global centers while preserving the Indian knowledge system. Again, I am repeating the same line that NEP is a structural change that provides or that brings a competitive frameworks or comprehensive frameworks for the transformation of education in alignment with the global standards while preserving the internal or Indian knowledge system or Indian values or Indian ethics. Key features of NEP is that is skilled and development and employability, which focused on research, innovation, and it integrates Indian knowledge system into the curriculum. So we envisioned India in 2047 as a Viksit Bharat. This is again not the just year, it's a promise to make India AI technological driver. NEP 2020 as a guiding framework, IKS as the value based foundation, then the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 will certainly become the conclusive reality. Let us finally step our children to what to think, start training, how to think. Let us move away from the textual and heavy memory based instruction, move towards the contextual rich, wisdom based enlightenment. Once again, my profound thanks to the team Vedanta for stepping up, setting the stage, and hosting the critical national dialogue. Let us have this magnificent conference not just a heavy folders of ideas but a singular unending shared revolve. Let us build an education system that is truly worthy, magnificent, future, what we are desired to achieve. Let us build a Viksit Bharat that is technologically unstoppable, structurally indestructible, and culturally and spiritually highest. Thank you very much for this patience. Namaste.
We sincerely thank Dr. Komal Sharma for her insightful plenary address and valuable academic perspectives. Your contribution to our discussions on the theme of conference is really enriching and we are really thankful to you. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Now moving ahead, academic excellence becomes meaningful when guided by experienced scholars and mentors. We are honored to have eminent academicians serving as session chair experts for this conference. Our respected session chair experts are Dr. Ranjana Yadav from Magad Mahila College, Patna, Bihar. Dr. Arya Sharma, Professor with MedJoin Academy. Dr. Divya Shikhar, Assistant Professor, Amity University, Patna. Dr. Seema Thakran, Assistant Professor with the North Cap University. Dr. Akanksha Avasthi, Assistant Professor with Dr. C.V. Raman University. Banasri Bandopadhyay, Assistant Professor, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. Dr. Diviraj Singh Jadeja, Assistant Professor, Christ College, Rajkot, Gujarat. Dr. Nishu Sethi, Assistant Professor, the North Cap University. We warmly welcome and thank all our session chair experts for their valuable academic support, constructive guidance and contributions toward maintaining the scholarly quality of this conference. Thank you. The research presentations form the intellectual heart of this conference. Researchers, scholars, educators, and professionals from multidisciplinary domains and backgrounds are presenting innovative studies related to artificial intelligence, sciences, Indian knowledge systems, transformative education, sustainable development and sustainable practices, and multidisciplinary innovations. These presentations reflect the growing spirit of interdisciplinary scholarship and the academic energy required for building a knowledge-driven Viksit Bharat. Our respected session chair experts have appreciated the originality, relevance, innovation, and multidisciplinary nature of the research presented during this conference and its various sessions. Their valuable suggestions, methodological observations, and constructive feedback will further strengthen academic quality and practical impact of the research work presented at this conference. We now move forward toward the parallel paper presentation sessions and interactions with our respected session chair experts. Dear friends, as we conclude this meaningful international academic gathering, I extend my sincere gratitude to our distinguished keynote speakers, Dr. Pina Bhatt and Professor Dr. Shobhana Jeet. Our plenary speakers, Dr. Komal Sharma and Dr. Bhavik Wakani. Respected session chair experts, researchers, academicians, professionals, students, and all the members who directly or indirectly joined this event. This conference reaffirms our collective commitment to advance innovation through multidisciplinary research, to integrate AI sciences and Indian knowledge systems, and to contribute meaningfully towards the realization of Viksit Bharat by 2047. Thank you all for your valuable presence, participation and contributions. Thank you. Jai Hind.